Hello everyone, this is Rocky and thank you so much for joining my channel. And like the title says, we are back to talk about Cherley or Cherley.com, whatever you know it as. I purchased Cherley about a year and a half ago and I want to let you know how it held up. Let's get right into it. So my Cherley video has done really well. I have no idea why, but the world is interested in Cherley, and so was I back in July of 2021. It was coming up on my social media feed, and I'm like, what is this all about? And didn't know if it was a scam. I just went for it. At the time, I was looking for some affordable linen pieces and stumbled upon Cherley and bought 3 items. They are conveniently lined up behind me. As you can see, I still own them, but I do want to kind of give you a follow-up on how things went. So I thought it would be easiest to just kind of list out the pros and the cons and my final verdict on the brand. So let's go through it. The first pro is they didn't fall apart. They didn't obviously, they fall apart. It's a year and a half later and they still exist and they're here. The other pro about it is, admittedly, I've gotten tons of compliments wearing these. Whenever I've worn any of these pieces, I got tons of compliments. So they were very fashionable, they were very cute, eye-catching, they were discussion pieces. Lastly, I guess the pro is that they certainly did check the box. They checked the box on the purpose that I needed them to serve, with the exception of one thing I'll mention in the cons, but I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, on its face, the price was low. I got, I guess a value for what I purchased. So I guess those are the 3 pros. I mean, it looked good, they didn't fall apart, and I got a value from them, right? So really quickly, the very first one, you probably remember this from the first video, is like a balloon sleeve, high-waisted baby doll, dusky pink dress. I wore this before. I'm, kind of showing how I styled it one time before, but I've worn this maybe over the course of 3 years. 3 years. Over the course of a year and a half, maybe 3 to 4 times, but it's super adorable. The next one is a one shoulder dress that I can't seem to find any footage of, so I'm gonna have to do a cutaway of me wearing it today, of how this looks on the body. It's very, very cute. The fact that the shoulder out was really nice. And it went over really well. And as you can see, no noticeable rips or holes or anything like that. And the last one is a 2-piece, and it's a hot pink number, and you'll see how this one looks on. It looks exactly how it looks on the model and is styled on the model. It stays in place. It does what it needs to do. So the Cherley is Cherleying, right? But I do have to get onto the cons. And with the cons, I will say this: the texture of the garments changed, and I'll have to. I don't know if you can see this, but it certainly lost its appeal after, just literally even after steaming it for the first time. It lost the original appeal of the fabric. The texture of it changed 100%. The colors on these faded. I know it's bright in here today, but this is a prime example of the colors being faded. This was a saturated, deep Barbie, hot pink kind of a color, and now it's really ashy and faded. And again, I know that it's fairly bright in here and everything's kind of washed out, but this in this case is the color you're seeing is the color I'm seeing. So it definitely faded over time. The garment itself, like I said, didn't rip or anything, but this is certainly not the garment that I purchased. And lastly, I told you the whole purpose of me going to Cherley was to find some affordable linen pieces for summer, and the pieces were not as advertised. I did this video and didn't really go deep enough with you when I did the original video, but afterwards, looking at the tag and looking at the materials, these are all polyester. They advertised them as being linen, but they were actually polyester. So when I go back to that original point of these being a good value for what I got, actually, I overpaid for this. I overpaid for polyester pieces. These are equivalent of things that you can get from any fast fashion house. Cherley is obviously, now that we know more, a fast fashion house. And I 100% overpaid for these pieces. When you can get pieces like this equivalent from a Shein or a Forever 21 or an H&M for a fraction of the price, I feel as though, these were overpriced, and I did not get what I paid for. So what's the final verdict on this? My final verdict is that I wouldn't purchase anything from Cherley again. One being, again, the quality of it, and then two, the false advertisement. I didn't appreciate being lied to with the advertisement versus what I got. So I certainly wouldn't recommend this to anyone, and I just feel like there are so many other options that you could try for a comparable price, or even if it's a little bit more expensive, but the quality and the value would be there. If you want to keep these for longer than the season, this ain't it, because fading and the changing of the texture of the garments, that ain't it. That ain't what you want. So I would certainly not recommend Cherley again. You could always go to different brands to find quality linens if that's what you're looking for. Reformation, Everlane, Anthropologie, Farm Rio, Madewell. These are a few that I've named, that I've listed here, that you can go to and get kind of really nice quality. And then there are some other places that kind of have a mix between fast fashion and slow fashion options, which are like a Free People and a Urban Outfitters. And then there are a couple of fast fashion houses that you can go to find, again, comparable pieces for the same price, but probably a little bit better. And you don't have to wait forever to get them, and that would be Zara and Mango. So I'm just putting out a few options. And if you shop the way I shop, I'm always looking for a bargain. You can always find quality pieces on sale. It doesn't even have to be like, you know, lesser quality just because you want to pay a lesser price. So I found some just this week, some amazing linen pieces from Net-a-Porter, and they have a nice sale going on, and there's sales going on constantly. So just take a look. Just don't do Cherley. That's what I would say. But I have fun testing these things out for you, so I don't feel like I've been burned in any way, because I knew it was an experiment going into it. But having done that on your behalf, my recommendation is not to get Cherley. In other news, no one asked me for this, but the dress that I was wearing in the video when I filmed the Cherley review about a year and a half ago now, this dress I got from Shein. I purchased this well ahead of this Cherley haul, and this dress is holding up wonderfully. It's holding up perfectly. And Shein, again, hit or miss. I have a ton of videos about Shein that you could review, and I could, you know, link some for you to take a look at. However, in terms of, you know, what you're advertising and, you know, the perception of a brand, you would think the way that Cherley is advertised that it would be better than a Shein. In this case, I'm giving you an example where I knew exactly what I was getting. I took the risk knowing that Shein is 50-50, but this piece right here, I'll probably own this piece 10-15 years. And the only reason I might get rid of it in 10 years is because I'm tired of it. This piece is actually very well made. It's very stylish. It fits very nicely, which is a surprise sometimes to some people for Shein. But that being said, Cherley, take it off your list. That brings us to the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.